Back last year, I did a video that a lot of people didn't like. I was quoting Yoshida. He came out and he said, quote, "We've been saying that the number of AAAs might be getting smaller because the cost of development for AAAs is getting higher. But there are so many indie games and great games coming out almost every week and every other week. We're seeing it on PS4, and I hope you're seeing it as well." Now, when I posted up that video and I posted up that quote, I actually was surprised at how many people came back and said, he wasn't talking about PS4, he wasn't talking about fewer AAA games on PlayStation. I mean, was he talking about Atari? Who is he in charge of? Was he speaking for Nintendo or Microsoft or Steam or anybody else? So, I've been saying for a long time that I've felt the one area where PlayStation has been lacking has been the AAA exclusives. I'm not talking about all those exclusive indies or your mobile games that are blown up for your TV. I'm talking about the big AAA hitters. And it's not just me saying it now. In fact, Sony is finally admitting to it. Andrew House was speaking at a Sony 2015 Investor Relations Day. And here's what he said. He was talking about Sony's first-party lineup and it being scarce, and also how that means that they need to focus more on getting third-party support. So he started off talking about the sales and how well they're doing, and that's great. We all know that PlayStation is selling well, so apparently they don't even really need the exclusives that bad, but it still would be nice to have because you don't play sales. It doesn't matter how many they sell, that doesn't make your system play any more AAA exclusive games. But when he got to the games, here's what he said, quote, "We are working very hard to continue strong support from third-party pubs and devs. Our first-party lineup is a little sparse this year, so I think this places even greater emphasis on getting good third-party support." And he did mention that that mostly means getting third-party devs to take advantage of things like system features like SharePlay or getting early access to DLC whenever it comes out. And he also mentioned, third-party exclusives are still possible, trying to secure third-party deals, but he did mention that those are becoming harder to secure due to the cost. And he said, quote, "I would characterize 2015 as the beginning of a harvest period for the PlayStation 4 platform. The beginning of a harvest period. That being said, we are also undertaking to invest in the future, and 2015 will also be a year of investment." So here's where they're talking about placing a majority of the investment. He says there's the Morpheus, of course, as well as continued spending on original PlayStation entertainment content like TV show Powers, which was recently greenlit for a second season. On top of that, House said Sony would be investing in the expansion of PlayStation Vue television streaming platform and continued re-architecture of its PlayStation network with an eye towards increasing stability and reducing maintenance downtime. So during all that, I still didn't hear anything about AAA exclusives, which is a little worrying, to be honest. And, I told you from the very beginning why I was late to getting a PS4 was because I didn't see that many exclusives that I needed to have it for. And now that I've got one, my predictions were right as far as I'm concerned. Everybody's different. Some people like to buy their multiplats for PS4 or whatever else, but I wanted the PlayStation for the AAA exclusives that they've had in the past on their systems. But I'll be honest with you, it's just been sitting here. And I was talking to my people on Twitter the other day, and I'm like, if Sony doesn't have a big E3 and deliver, some big surprises, I'm seriously considering just getting rid of this thing because I would rather just have the money back rather than just sit there and not be doing anything. I've played a handful of exclusive games on it. I played Drive Club, which, everybody went crazy over the graphics on that, but I honestly thought it was pretty barren as far as features go. And it did look really freaking awesome whenever it was raining and at nighttime. But during the daytime, I thought the game just looked about as good as just about most games that are racers these days. And then you had Bloodborne, which a lot of people loved, but it's kind of a niche title. And it was one of those titles where I kind of knew going in that it wasn't really for me, and it wasn't. And then we all know how The Order turned out. So, I need something. And I would have loved to play Uncharted this year, but of course that got pushed back, and it's not going to be long before that comes out. That's going to be coming out, I believe they said, before March 31st of 2016. But it leaves a big gap now that that has been delayed into 2016 as far as what's going to be coming the rest of this year. And it's not just 2015 that was sparse. Remember that. Last year was also sparse. So, I don't know. I need to see some big AAA games. And I'm not talking about indies that they're going to be marketing like first-party games, because they did mention how they are going to take No Man's Sky and market it like they would a first-party title. But, I mean, you compare No Man's Sky, if you look at that game, I mean, I was excited for it at first, but the more I see about it, the less I'm excited for. I think a game like Elite Dangerous looks a ton better, and you have a lot more things that you can actually do in that space. So I'm not talking about indies. I'm not talking about mobile games coming that are exclusive. I want to see big games. And I understand that the number of AAAs may be getting smaller, but whenever you've been sparse last year, you've been sparse this year. So, I mean, I guess my question is, how long are we going to have to wait before greatness finally arrives?
Are you listening? Damn.